This is the first episode of a series that I've been dying to start, essentially breaking down AI businesses that are actually working right now. So, something that I've been obsessed with is the content around businesses and like business models, particularly service models that you can start right now. You see Mark Cuban talking about how if he was 20 years old again, this is the exact type of business he'd be starting. You see, like on My First Million and all the other podcasts, these are the sorts of models that people are looking for. But whenever you hear things like AI automation agency or AI services for small businesses, it can kind of just sound a little bit abstract. And a lot of the examples you often hear are examples that are theoretical and people aren't actually making money doing them. But I came across this awesome business by a guy called Corey Ganem, and he's really perfected a model that anyone can start. You need no background in AI. And it's the type of thing that you can very easily scale to 10K a month pretty easily just by following like the fundamentals of starting a service business. And I think it's really cool because what's great about this model is this is the type of thing that you can get to 10K a month quite simply. And then once you have the foundation set up, it's the sort of business that you could get to 6 figures a month just by compounding on the amount of clients you have and the way that you service them. So the business that I'm talking about today is the business of doing AI audits for companies. So most people overcomplicate starting an AI-based service business. They think you need to have the best automations in the world. They think you need an in-depth understanding of how a real estate agent works so you can automate something and then sell that into a bunch of other real estate agents. But the reality is you can just do something way simpler, which is what Corey's done. And that idea is just simply getting on a call with a small business, saying that you will jump on and help them understand how AI could be integrated into their business and understand their problems and report back to them with a very clear report of the low-hanging fruit things that they could be doing. And like very simple example of this is as someone that runs an agency, and as I've shared in my previous episode, we've done over 6 figures a month. The most fundamentally basic thing that we use is Fireflies to actually track calls and get transcripts, which to anyone listening to this is the most obvious thing that you would add to your business, any service business in the modern day. But the reality is most companies outside of X who don't pay attention to X are not using these basic AI tools that can make such an immediate impact in their business. And so your job in this business is simply to help them understand the things that they're not using right now that can make an immediate impact. So to give you a breakdown of what Corey's done, he's essentially made a business where what he does is quite simply, he gets on a Zoom call with the client. He has an AI note taker recording the call. And then he takes the transcript afterwards and feeds it through Claude or OpenAI or any of the latest models when you're watching this video, and asks it to find the easiest tools that this company could integrate to solve their problems. Then at the end, he comes back to the client with a report breaking down on a very simple matrix what the lowest effort, highest impact things for them to integrate are, and gives them a list of all the things that they can add themselves. But then, of course, naturally, this leads to the upsell of, would you like us to integrate that for you? And that leads to Corey getting so much more business, not just on the actual report itself, but on process design, integrating tools, and all the other pieces that you can imagine go with integrating a brand into these sorts of tools and ways of working. And so if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, okay, that's great, Alex. I jump on a call with a brand, I provide them a report, and I get to do that and charge $1,000 for that service. That sounds awesome. But how the hell do I reach out to someone and get them to pay me $1,000 for this service? So to get started, I'll tell you how Corey actually started it himself. This all came from a friend reaching out to Corey and saying, hey, look, we need to be using AI in our business. I have no idea where to get started. I'll pay you $1,000 to follow me around for the day and just tell me where we can be using AI in our business. And that moment for Corey lit up a light bulb and made him go, okay, if one company is happy to pay for this, I'm sure that many other business owners also be happy to pay $1,000 for that as well. But that's not where he started. So what he did was what many great service providers do. And pretty much everyone I know that started a service usually starts here, which is he actually provided the service for free. He reached out to a few other businesses and was like, hey, look, I would love to jump on a call with you, understand your business, and help you understand really easy ways that you can integrate AI in your business. And if you think about it, most business owners are kind of freaking out about AI. They know they need to be using it, but they don't really know where to get started. And so that's a grand slam offer to be able to reach out to people and just say, hey, I'll do this for free. And the great thing about that, if you're starting out, is it does two things. Number one, it builds your confidence and helps you understand like what this service actually looks like and gives you time to tinker without the stakes being super high. And two, it gives you testimonials. So as long as you do a good job, most of those businesses will be happy to give you some form of testimonial or referral. And the best part is often business owners know other business owners as well. So that's a really easy way to just kind of get your foot in the door, build your confidence, and get started with it. But Corey actually he started for free. Then he started charging $200. Then he started charging $500. And now he charges $1,000 to do this process for businesses. And a really big part of why he charges $1,000 is because he found that when you charge too little, like $200 or $500, number one, businesses don't really take it as seriously. And number two, when you want to do the more involved work, the work that might take you a week or so to actually execute for a brand, if you're only charging $200, it's really hard to then offer a $3,000 package because that's something that is just way too big of a leap between your initial offer and the main offer that comes off the back of this initial audit. So he so far has found that the sweet spot is $1,000 for the audit, which kind of sets it up nicely to be able to do the upsells like integrating these tools or actually setting up custom processes and integrations and agents for businesses. So to wrap this up, there's a couple cool things that I took away from this story that I think will be useful to anyone that is listening. So number one, you might be listening to this and still thinking like, that sounds great, Alex. I would love to charge clients $1,000 for a report. I still think it's too hard and I don't know how to do that or how to find customers. Corey literally wrote an article on the 7 ways to easily get clients for this that don't involve having an audience. So don't feel intimidated by this. This is something that anyone can start. And that brings me to the second cool thing that I took away from this, which is you really don't need to have any specific expertise to pull off this model. You can start literally just by having a Fireflies or Granola account and a LinkedIn account and just start reaching out to people. It is that simple, especially if you're starting for free. One tip that I saw Corey share is if you're going to go into this, it's very important to have an upsell on the back end because the reality is that, look, you could sell $1,000, $1,000, $1,000 over and over again. But the real business is in the upsells of actually integrating a lot of these tools and services and ways of working. And so if you're going to go into that zone, what you want to look for is the consistent patterns that you are really specialized at integrating, even if it's just adding a simple tool, and focus on that one upsell as your key upsell because you're going to get better and better at it. And then once it becomes automatic to you, then you can start to focus on another and another and another, especially the ones that you're seeing patterns with on the audit calls that you're doing for clients. Fourth thing, tip from Corey, don't call it an audit. I know we've been calling it an audit this entire time. He calls it an assessment because naturally most people don't love the idea of getting audited. It reminds me a lot of Alex Hormozi. I think his original company was called Gym Rescue. Then he realized gyms don't want to be rescued. They want to be launched, even if they are already existing and already successful. So he changed to Gym Launch. Similar thing here. Don't call it an AI audit. Call it an AI assessment. And the final thing that I just really reflected on when researching this story is that X feels like everyone is doing everything, like all the models are already covered. But you just need to ignore that and stop fishing where the fishermen are and start fishing where the actual fish are, which is the competition right now in these service businesses is low. When I walk around my office right now and I speak to people about how they're using AI, most of the normal businesses, outside of just using ChatGPT as something to look up a little bit of extra info or write something quite basic for them, most businesses aren't actually using AI tools. So don't underestimate how big this market is and how low the competition is because most businesses are extremely underserved right now. And there's just so much opportunity out there. And actually one final thing that I want to add is I think the coolest part about this business is if you think about the 2 to 3 year journey of it. So if you become the trusted AI provider for a service business, you're going to be the person that they come to every time there's a major update, there's a major new way of working, there's a major platform release, a major switch from Claude to OpenAI and back to Claude again. You are going to be the provider that they go to because they've trusted you to set up their systems. And so if you run this business and you just do assessments and maybe one upsell and you do that for a year and you only get a couple clients a month, that very steadily is going to compound into something where you become the main provider every time something new comes out. You are the one to integrate it across all these businesses. And I just think that is such an exciting trajectory for someone starting out. You can do something really simple now and compound it into a massive business over the next 2 or 3 years. So this is the end of the first episode. I hope you liked it. Please give me some feedback and let me know if there's any areas of businesses you want me to dive a little bit deeper on. And I'll see you guys here tomorrow for episode 2.